Welcome back. It is postseason baseball time. It's Tuesday, October 3rd. 3 picks on the way. It's Austin, joined by Logan. Unfortunately, we got to do a recap of our last day of MLB betting, an 0-3 day. Just nothing went right. I'm not going to recap all those picks. That's in the past. It's postseason baseball. Last year in the postseason, Logan and I dominated. We're up 10 units. If we could duplicate that, that would be awesome. We're going to dial on in. It's postseason baseball, the best time to be alive. Now, we do have some cool news. Number one, I'll actually be at the Rays game on Tuesday. So Rays, Rangers, I'll be there in attendance. And then Logan and I are going to a couple games this weekend. We will be at the first Orioles playoff game. They're actually going to take on whoever wins the Rays Rangers series. So Logan and I will be in attendance there. And then I'll be at the Braves, whoever they play in their second game, which I believe is on Monday. So if you are at those games, hopefully we'll get to meet you. We'll talk about that in future videos. But if you are at the Rays game today on Tuesday, I'll see you guys there. But Logan, I had heard you got a pick that I'm not going to love in this game. Rays Rangers, what are you taking?
I love how you're wearing your Rays jersey because that's the losing side of this bet. I'm taking the Rangers on the money line, plus 130 odds on DraftKings, currently your best value there. Look, the value on the Rangers and to steal game one in this series is just too much for me to pass up on, because do I think the Rays are head and shoulders above the Rangers? I don't. And honestly, I told Austin this all season long. You can call me a hater. You can call me whatever. I think the Rays are a first-round playoff exit. I just don't think they're that good of a team. They could make me eat my words for sure. If they go out and sweep the Rangers, then I'm probably eating my words. But the Rangers will obviously have their work cut out for them. As plus 130 underdogs, they're not supposed to win this game. But the question is, can we find a pathway to victory and a pathway that makes sense, to put a full unit on them? Absolutely. Glasnow starts for the Rays, 3.18 ERA and a .88 whip at home. Glasnow's been a really good pitcher at home for much of the year. He faced the Rangers back in June, went 6 innings, pitched 1 earned run. Tampa Bay ended up winning that game 8-3. They gave Glasnow plenty of run support in that one. But what I want to point out is that Glasnow has had a shaky September, and he isn't entering this game in his best form. Over his last several starts, Glasnow has a 6.2 ERA. That's over his last 4 starts. He just hasn't been, entering this game into, tremendous form. He was great early on, came back from injury, was just absolutely carving up batters. But I think some hitters have sort of figured out how to hit him. And if he isn't getting the strikeouts, watch out. I mean, the Rangers offense could definitely be loose. It's no secret to success to how you hit Glasnow and how you find success against him is deploying left-handed bats in the lineup. Glasnow allowing a 247 opponent's batting average to lefties compared to a 164 batting average to righties. The Rangers, third best in batting average and third best in OPS this season against righties. So they're a team that has hit right-handed pitching really well. And the key to that is the left-handed bats of Seager, Lowe, and Jonah Heim. Those are all going to be pretty big in this one. And, we know what sort of season, Corey Seager's had. He's been amazing. The question is, can he be a hero in the playoffs as well? I'll go ahead and say yes. I think they can definitely touch up Glasnow a little bit in this one and give Jordan Montgomery some run support. Jordan Montgomery starts for the Rangers, 2.73 ERA and a 1.11 whip on the road for JMO. He's been really good, especially on the road, and he's entering this game, unlike Glasnow, he's entering this game in great form. In his last 4 starts, Montgomery has a .67 ERA and a .89 whip. The fact that he has a sub-1 ERA, I'll absolutely take that. If he can go out there and give us 5-6 innings pitched of really solid baseball, we're going to stand a really good chance to cash this. Now, over the season, the Rays, 6 in batting average and OPS versus lefties. They've seen left-handed pitching really well. So Montgomery will obviously have to be sharp in this one. I mean, that's no secret. You can't go out there, struggle to find the zone, leave pitches over the middle of the plate, because any Major League Baseball team, especially the ones in the playoffs, will be able to hit that. But I am trusting Montgomery. He's a really good pitcher at getting the ground ball double plays as well. And that's something the Rays have really struggled with. Heck, anytime I back them, I swear, they're just a ground into double play machine. Now, the real deciding factor in this one, I think there's not a huge deciding pitching, starting pitching advantage. I think it's going to be down to the bullpens. Now, on paper, the clear edge is to the Rays. That's no secret. The Rays, 8th in bullpen ERA over the last month compared to the Rangers, 25th in bullpen ERA over the last month. So obviously, we know over the course of the season, the Rays bullpen has been better than the Rangers. But the question is the Rays bullpen flawless? Could they seemingly give up a lead? Absolutely. They've had their ups and downs just like the Rangers have. And at this price, I'll take a shot on them giving Montgomery enough run support and the Rangers bullpen being good enough to hold this one. Look, I cannot pass up this price. There's a good chance even if the Rangers do lose game one, then I might be back on them in game two, depending on, kind of how it looks. I just don't think the Rays are head and shoulders above the Rangers. And at this plus money price, I got to take a shot on it. But Austin, where are you going for your pick today?
Yeah, Logan, I love the pick. I love the analysis. I'm not going to disagree with you. Now, when I'm at the game, I won't be lying. I will be wearing this Rays jersey, and I will not be able to root for your pick. But if it does end up cashing, I won't be mad about the money in our pockets. I like the Rangers on the money line. But for my pick, I'm going to go to a completely different game. We're not going to double dip in two games. We're going to talk about the Diamondbacks Brewers game. I'm going for a little plus money myself. I'm taking the over 4.5 runs in the first 5 innings. Currently plus 110 on FanDuel. Now, there are a couple books you can take it at 3.5 juiced. I'm not going to give out a minus 170 pick. Now, there are a couple books that are at 4, which does give you that push potential. I don't think the 4 is a bad bet. It just was minus 120, and I'd rather not, lay juice in case it does push. I think at the end of the day, either this game soars over the line or you're not going to see a lot of runs. And I'm hoping for the first option where we see a lot of runs scored. And honestly, I don't mind the full game over either. However, I could see this realistically being one of those games where you see a first 5 over, full game under, because these two bullpens are pretty solid. D-backs bullpen's been great over the last couple weeks, and the Brewers bullpen's been one of the best since the All-Star break, really all season long. But let's talk about Brandon Pfaadt, who's going to go for the D-backs today. And you look at his numbers, 5.72 ERA and a 1.59 WHIP. Only a 253 batting average allowed so far on the road this year compared to 314 at home. But you look at the power, 15 home runs allowed on the road compared to just 10 at home. So he's been giving up a lot more home runs on the road. And this is where he's going to start, on the road in a somewhat hitter-friendly ballpark in Milwaukee. And I certainly think that this Brewers team is good at hitting the ball deep. That's what they did all of last year, not as much this year, but this still has teams that they're capable of grinding out those at-bats. And you look at Pfaadt, 3rd percentile barrel percentage, 16th percentile on hard hit percentage, and he's also only 8th percentile on ground ball percentage, so not getting a lot of those double plays, which is honestly sort of a kryptonite for this Brewers offense. But you look at Pfaadt, coming off a good start, 0 earned runs versus the White Sox. Now, I probably could go out there and throw a decent showing against the White Sox based on the lineups they were trotting out there, but in his 4 previous starts where he went 0 or 1 earned run, his next start, he allowed 3, 4, 2, and 5 earned runs, so was never able to really string together those really good back-to-back starts. And we saw early in his MLB career, this is a rookie we're talking about, his first 2 starts, 7 and 6 earned runs in his first ever 2 career MLB starts. What that makes me say is, hey, this guy came in here, he was nervous, and he struggled those first 2 starts. Well, now he's a rookie, pitching in game 1 of the postseason. It's a lot different than the regular season. Would it be, crazy to say, hey, he comes in and struggles? Milwaukee's crowd's going to be out there. They normally show up for their home games, and I anticipate Pfaadt being able to struggle a little bit here, and I think the Brewers honestly could get to him. They could score a lot of runs early on him, and if it's getting out of hand, maybe they take him out early. Obviously, he has a short leash, but still, I think they're going to be able to put up some runs on him. But on the other side, Corbin Burnes, I think, will give up some runs too. He will start for the Brewers, 4.28 ERA and a 1.21 WHIP at home this season. His actually home splits much worse than his road splits, 2.77 ERA and a 0.97 WHIP on the road. I don't know how that goes, but Corbin Burnes normally a decent pitcher at home. He just kind of struggled this year, and everyone's going to be on Brewers money line on Tuesday, and I'm not surprised. Brewers money line, we'll see Brewers first 5, we'll see probably the Brewers team total over and things of that nature, but I don't think the Brewers like to play when people have money on them. I just don't think that's a team that you really want to trust a whole lot, and Corbin Burnes, I think when everyone is riding with him, I just don't think that he just shows up when you need him to. And we saw, in our final day of betting baseball, I just think this D-backs team is going to show up. I mean, they wrecked us the last 2 games. We took their over, and then on Sunday, they just couldn't get anything going. But I think this D-backs team could score runs. Now, yeah, in their last 4 games, they've scored a combined 3 runs. Makes me think they're due. I mean, you can't do any worse than what they had been doing ending the season. But after a couple days off, I think their bats will be ready to go. And we've seen Burnes 4 starts against this D-backs team, all since 2022, 2 last year, 2 this year. He's allowed 5, 0, 0, and 7 earned runs. Worth noting, one of those zeros was the last start of the season. They just kind of had a tune-up game. You only saw 9 batters. But the other ones, they rocked him in 2 of those 3. He gave up this over by just himself. We see great splits versus Burnes. You look at Christian Walker batting 300, Ketel Marte 273, Gurriel 400, Alec Thomas 375, Perdomo 286. A bad spot, Corbin Carroll only like 1 for 9, batting .111. But I'm confident Carroll, who's swinging a pretty hot bat in September, can come in here and continue that into October. Look, I think we can get 5 runs through 5. I think we're going to see some runs given up by Burnes. I also think Pfaadt could give up some as well. I like the over 4.5. I like the plus 110 price we're getting on it. I would probably play it to right around minus 110. I don't think it goes any higher than that. Look, I'll take a little bit of plus money. I'll take it plus 110. Brewers and Diamondbacks Diamondbacks over 4.5 in the first 5. But Logan, wrap it up. Third pick, you're going to your hometown team. Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm going to the Marlins and Phillies game, and I'm taking the first 5 under 4 runs. Minus 110 odds on BetMGM, currently your best value. Now, I'm going opposite of what you just talked about. You talked about a first 5 over. I'm talking about a first 5 under. And the fact that this line is 4, it's 4.5 on some books. It really depends on where you're getting it. I don't think I would lay the juice as at the 4.5 line. Maybe you would have find something to parlay it with, maybe a parlay, a hitter or someone you like in that one. But I like the value at 4 because I think it's set low for a reason. The first 5 under is the way to go, given the fact that I think this is going to be a pitcher's duel early to start in this one. And then the runs are likely to come later when these 2 bullpens come in. That's where I really think the runs are going to happen. Let's talk about who's starting for the Phillies. It's going to be Zach Wheeler, 4.13 ERA and a 1.12 whip at home for Zach Wheeler. The fact that his ERA is that high at home, I actually, I'm kind of surprised by that. He's a better pitcher than that. And against Miami, Wheeler has a 3.00 ERA against them this season. And all 3 Wheeler starts against Miami, the first 5 has went under this total. So it's one of those things that it's a trend that certainly makes a lot of sense. Zach Wheeler, a very sharp pitcher. He's a very sharp pitcher, playing at home as well. And on the season, we look at Miami. They're only hitting 238 against righties on the road. If this was in Miami, I might have a little bit of hesitation behind it, but they just have not been a consistent road offense and a consistent road offense against right-handed pitching as well. I'll go ahead and take a shot at Zach Wheeler being the dominant ace that the Phillies do expect him to be. Now, on the other side, we've got Jesus Luzardo starting for the Marlins, 4.48 ERA and a 1.38 whip on the road for Jesus Luzardo. His numbers are a little bit deceiving because he went through a stretch where he just was not himself at all. Was it injuries? Was it, him just having the yips? I don't know what it was, but there was a lot of starts in there. He gave up, 5-6 earned runs. That's just not him. Jesus Luzardo is a great pitcher. And against the Phillies, Luzardo has only allowed a 211 opponent's batting average in 83 plate appearances. In his 2 starts against the Phillies as well this season, Luzardo allowed 2 and 0 first 5, inning runs. So he's been really good early on, and especially the first time through the order against Jesus Luzardo. He's a really hard pitcher for these hitters to see. And I think, being a strikeout specialist and a lefty against these left-handed bats, of the Phillies like Schwarber, Harper, and Stott. Against those guys, it's going to be really key to get those guys out because that's really where the Phillies do their damage. If they have runners on and it takes a 2 or 3 run Schwarber or Bryson Stott double down the line, that's where this Phillies offense thrives. But Luzardo only allows a 215 opponent's batting average to lefties. That's a really good signs for us in this one. The fact that he should be pretty dialed in against lefties. So we gotta take our chances against the right-handed bats of the Phillies lineup, against the Trey Turner, Bohm, and Castellanos. Well, against Luzardo, Trey Turner 0 for 8, Bohm 1 for 11, and Castellanos 2 for 7. So the question is can we get away with the offense being streaky in this one? I do think so. I think in this first 5 innings, it's going to be low scoring. Some of these bats are going to take a few plate appearances to finally warm up. I think we get a low scoring start to this one. Whatever happens in the bullpens happens in the bullpens. That's not what we're concerned with. I think early on, the first 5 unders definitely the way to go. Austin, I feel good about these picks. Let's start the playoffs off hot.
That feels like a 3-0 card. I don't know if you're smelling what I'm smelling, but that feels like a good card that we just cooked up. So those are our 3 favorite picks of the day. Look, we're just excited playoff baseball's back. And look, we're not going to have a ton of plays because it's dialed down on the games, but we'll try to find our favorite picks in each game. We're going to avoid some games. We're not touching that Twins-Blue Jays game. No thanks. You got the wrong guys. Blue Jays, we don't touch those games. But either way, let's have our 3-0 day. If I see you at the Rays-Rangers game, awesome. Hopefully we get to see you at some games this weekend. It's Austin Logan signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.